Do you think you know Iran? You think it is a country defined by threat and tension because that is the only version you have been given. Have you ever tried imagining that? How did a city built on barren limestone hills, with no river, no harbor, and no natural resources that an empire would consider valuable, become the most contested piece of land in the entire history of human civilization? Also, have you ever wondered why the world's oldest written declaration of human rights was not born in Athens or Rome, but pressed into a clay cylinder by a Persian king in 539 BCE? Forget the headlines. Iran is not the country you were handed. It is a civilization that kept a sacred flame burning for 15 centuries, carved homes into volcanic stone, and rebuilt cities from rubble. Because here, collapse has never meant the end. This is Unreal Iran. The Strait of Hormuz narrows to approximately 21 miles at its most constricted point, and within this channel, through which roughly 20% of the world's daily oil trade passes, Hormuz Island sits 5 miles off the mainland coast. Measuring barely 8 miles across, its low profile visible from Bandar Abbas as a dark smudge against water that shifts between turquoise and deep green. Nothing about that silhouette prepares the arriving visitor for what the island actually is: a salt dome thrust upward through the sea floor over millions of years, carrying from depth a concentration of 70 distinct mineral types compressed into a landmass small enough to walk across in an afternoon. The red beaches announce this reality immediately, a color so saturated that the first encounter produces a perceptual delay before the mind accepts that this is simply Earth. Iron oxide at a concentration high enough that the island's population has incorporated the soil into domestic life for centuries. The red earth, called golak, is ground into a pigment pressed into flatbreads with oil and aromatic herbs, painted onto faces for celebrations, the geology beneath their feet treated as a pantry rather than a spectacle. In the Rainbow Valley, mineral striations run in horizontal bands across coastal cliffs and deposits of mica and crystal within the beach. Sand scatter light at multiple wavelengths simultaneously, producing the consistent perceptual report of walking across a surface, generating its own illumination from within. The same geography that creates this beauty creates vulnerability. The strait's strategic value makes Hormuz one of the most militarily monitored pieces of land on Earth, and the fishing communities sustaining the island's economy operate within marine ecosystems, measurably stressed by a Persian Gulf, warming faster than almost any comparable body of water. The Iranian Central Plateau arrives at Isfahan as a wide, dust-hazed plain at approximately 250 feet elevation. Enclosed by mountain ridges that turn violet at dusk. The Naqsh Jahan Square, measuring nearly 600 feet in length, one of the largest enclosed public spaces on Earth, holds morning silence like a vessel holds water before the city wakes. As light strikes the Shah Mosque's eastern facade, its tilework achieves a cobalt so layered across centuries of geometric repetition that the surface appears to generate illumination rather than reflect it. Beneath the main dome, a single hand clap returns precisely 7 times the 7 heavens of Islamic cosmology. Engineered into geometry with 17th century mathematics, theology expressed as measurable physics. "15 minutes north, in the Armenian Christian quarter of Jolfa, the Vank Cathedral presents from outside the unmistakable silhouette of an Iranian Islamic structure tiled dome. Pointed arches, a campanile proportioned like a minaret, then opens inside to reveal 17th century Armenian frescoes covering every wall. The expulsion from Eden, the martyrdom of early Christians, rendered in a tradition entirely distinct from the surrounding Islamic architecture. This was not confusion. It was Shah Abbas's deliberate policy granting Isfahan's Armenian silk-weaving community full religious autonomy in exchange for the textile expertise his empire required. Producing a neighborhood where two devotional traditions built their most sacred structures within walking distance of each other and held that arrangement intact across 4 centuries. The Zayande River, which once defined Isfahan's identity and fed the Persian gardens surrounding its formal architecture, has run dry for extended periods in recent decades. The bridges that once spanned it now arch over sand. And the Isfahanis, who gather on their promenades in the evenings, do so above a riverbed that memory insists should not be empty. The Zagros Mountains enclose Shiraz at approximately 200 feet in a valley that functions as a microclimate trap holding moisture, moderating temperature, producing growing conditions so anomalous within the surrounding semi-arid plateau that the city has sustained rose cultivation for over 1,000 years. On early summer mornings, the fragrance arrives before any visual detail of the settlement itself. Carried on air, still cool enough to hold scent, rather than simply transmit heat. The limestone ridges holding this valley catch the first light of sunrise, while the city below remains in shadow. And in that interval of differential illumination, Shiraz presents itself as a place that exists inside a deliberate exception. Within that exception, the Nasir al-Mulk Mosque resolves the city's character most precisely. Built in the 1880s with a stained glass facade facing east, it produces each morning a phenomenon where the prayer hall floor becomes a surface in continuous motion, colored light shifting across Persian carpets as the earth rotates. The architecture, transformed by solar geometry into devotional space and daily proof that beauty achieved through mathematical precision is indistinguishable from grace. Across the city, at the tomb of the 14th century poet Hafez, Iranians of every generation arrive carrying unanswerable questions about marriage, departure, uncertain futures, and open the collected poems at random. Treating the lines they find as direct response from a voice that stopped speaking in 1390 CE and has not in the living theology of this practice, stopped listening since. The city's contemporary tension is quieter. The same mild climate that sustained Shiraz's rose gardens and its poets now attracts a volume of tourism that the valley's intimate scale was never designed to absorb. Fars province spreads south from the Zagros foothills as a pale, wind-scoured plateau where the land offers almost nothing. No river, no forest, no shelter from a sun that strikes limestone at an angle so direct that exposed rock surfaces reach temperatures capable of burning bare skin. At roughly 100 feet elevation, the air is thin. The horizon absolute, and the silence between the surviving columns of Persepolis carries a quality of suspended ceremony. As though the procession depicted on the surrounding walls paused mid-step and never resumed. Those walls are the detail that separates Persepolis from every other imperial monument on Earth. They show no war. Across hundreds of feet of bas-relief, the 23 subject nations appear not in chains, but in procession. Egyptians carrying folded linen, Armenians leading a horse, Ethiopians presenting a giraffe, each delegation carved in its own clothing, with the physiognomic attention reserved for people considered worth documenting as individuals. The Cyrus cylinder, issued in 539 BCE, expressed the same philosophy in words, recognized today as the world's first written declaration of human rights. Persepolis expressed it in stone. At monumental scale. In a desert that preserves everything. For the custodians and farmers who move across this plateau daily, the ruins encode a familiar pattern, extraordinary civilization, patient reclamation by the land. Today, acid rain, carried from industrial centers far to the west, is dissolving the relief surfaces that survived Alexander's fire. And the figures who faced the afternoon sun for 25 centuries are beginning for the first time to lose their detail to forces the empire never anticipated. The Dasht-e-Kavir presses from the north, the Dasht-e-Lut from the east, and Yazd sits at their convergence as though placed deliberately at the point of maximum inhospitability, receiving fewer than 2 inches of rain annually, enduring summers exceeding 115 degrees Fahrenheit, absorbing winds that carry fine mineral dust from salt flats stretching hundreds of miles in every direction. The city does not fight this environment. Its mud brick walls are the color of the desert because they are made of the desert. And the Badger wind towers rising above its roof lines represent 14 centuries of accumulated intelligence about how to make a hostile climate useful. Passive atmospheric engines that capture prevailing breezes at height, accelerate them through narrowing shafts, and deliver air up to 15 degrees Fahrenheit, cooler into the rooms below. No moving parts, no energy, no maintenance beyond clearing dust from intake vents. Below those towers, families who have lived in Yazd for generations describe the sound of wind entering the shaft at night as something between ventilation and conversation. The desert, after centuries of negotiation, finally agreeing to cooperate. At the Atash Berum fire temple, a flame has burned without interruption since 470 CE, tended across 80 generations by the same priestly families who understand their obligation as literal maintenance of a continuity that predates Islam and has survived every political transformation since. Yazd is the only city on earth where this ancient flame and the mosque's call to prayer coexist within the same neighborhood. Two traditions that arrived at different conclusions about the divine and agreed across 14 centuries of shared streets, that the agreement to share mattered more than the conclusions themselves. What this equilibrium costs as younger Zoroastrian generations leave for Tehran and beyond. Is a question the fire temple answers only with continued burning. Tehran announces itself from the south as a brown-gray density pressed against the Alborz Range Mountains, rising to over 18,600 feet at Damavand's volcanic peak. Their snowline visible on clear days as a white horizontal stripe drawn across the upper atmosphere, clean and entirely indifferent to what accumulates below. The city spreads across the mountain's southern slope at an elevation differential of nearly 3,000 feet between its wealthiest northern districts and its most industrial southern zones. A topographic stratification so precise in its correspondence to economic geography that altitude here functions simultaneously as meteorological measurement and social address. Below the visible city, five identified fault lines converge beneath the urban fabric. Seismological assessments describe a magnitude 7 earthquake directly beneath a metropolitan area of 15 million, as not a matter of probability, but of timing. And the older concrete structures covering much of the urban area represent a vulnerability that official reports have documented for decades without generating adequate structural response. Inside the Golestan Palace, the Hall of Mirrors demonstrates what this civilization produced when given time and patronage. Qajar craftspeople shattered mirrors into millions of angular fragments and set each piece individually into plaster, angled to catch light from every direction simultaneously. A single candle introduced to this room multiplies across millions of surfaces until the walls dissolve into sourceless luminosity. The theological conviction that divine light does not concentrate in single points, but distributes across every willing surface, made physically inhabitable. Outside the palace gates, the city lives within the practical distance between that vision and the arithmetic of sanctions, traffic, and daily endurance, a distance that Tehranis have refined across generations into a specific form of persistence. Mount Sahand spreads across the horizon, southeast of Tabriz, as a shield volcano of such horizontal mass that it reads less like a mountain and more like elevated terrain that forgot to stop. Its last major eruption occurred approximately 10 0,000 years ago. Depositing volcanic ash across surrounding valleys that compressed over millennia into ignimbrite soft, grey, the thermally stable rock that erodes under wind and rain into conical formations, rising 15 to 40 feet from valley floors in clusters of irregular geometry. In a valley approximately 35 miles south of Tabriz at roughly 900 feet elevation, the village of Kandavan has existed inside these formations for approximately 700 years, not beside the volcanic cones, but within them, human settlement and geological formation having become across centuries of continuous occupation, the same thing. The ignimbrite maintains interior temperatures between 60 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit, regardless of external conditions, natural insulation performing without energy input. What modern building science achieves through synthetic layers and continuous climate control. Families cook, sleep, and raise children in chambers carved to specific domestic requirements. Plastered walls, carved niches, wooden doors fitted into widened openings. External stone staircases built directly onto cone surfaces. Smoke exits through channels cut into the peaks. Sheep graze below. What separates Kandavan from Cappadocia, the Turkish cave landscape, receiving incomparably greater international attention, is the fact that no one here ever left. Cappadocia's dwellings were abandoned and converted into boutique hotels. Kandavan's residents continued the Mongol-era emergency that originally drove people into the rock transformed across 7 centuries. Into simply the way life is organized. The contemporary pressure is economic rather than geological. Younger generations weighing the thermal stability of volcanic rock against the professional opportunities available 35 miles down the mountain in Tabriz. The Lut Desert occupies southeastern Iran as one of the hottest surfaces on Earth. Satellite measurements have recorded ground temperatures here exceeding 159 degrees Fahrenheit, and against its western edge, in Kerman province, Arg-e-Bam rises from the valley floor in walls so uniformly, the color of surrounding terrain, that the eye initially misreads it as topography rather than architecture. Every brick was made from the same material the desert provided without cost: compressed earth mixed with straw, dried in the same heat that made the building necessary. A technology so perfectly circular that the desert both created the pressure and supplied the solution. Beneath those walls, the Qanat network made the city real hand-dug channels, descending tens of feet below the desert floor. Following the water table's gradient from mountain to plain through tunnels that maintained precise downhill angles without mechanical assistance, delivering water from sources up to 25 miles distant by gravity alone. The Qanat embodies a single insight: the desert does not lack water, but stores it underground, beyond evaporation's reach. And the correct human response is to descend through labor measured across generations, to where it already exists. This system sustained a Silk Road city of 13,000 people across 20 centuries. On the 26th of December, 2003, an earthquake struck directly beneath the sleeping city, and within 26 seconds collapsed 20 centuries of construction onto the people inside it, killing 26,000. Reconstruction has continued for over 2 decades. Original bricks, recovered from rubble, cleaned, catalogued, returned to approximate positions. The Qanat channels restored alongside the walls they once sustained. The city is being reassembled from its own remains, which is, across every scale of its history, precisely what BAM has always done. The Dasht-e-Kavir meets the southern foothills of Iran's central mountains at Kashan, in a landscape of stark transition salt. Desert's flat white expanse giving way to broken, ochre-gray hillsides without any intermediate softness. The city appears from the approach road as an extension of this terrain. Mud brick perimeter walls, the color of surrounding earth. Roof lines broken only by the occasional badger tower. Nothing in the exterior announcing what it contains. This is not architectural accident. It is the survival logic of a wealthy Silk Road trading city across 25 centuries of passing armies. The logic that what cannot be seen cannot be coveted. And what cannot be coveted cannot be taken. Pass through one of the low gates, and the temperature drops 15 degrees before the eye adjusts. A courtyard where a fountain runs, roses grow against tiled walls, and plasterwork of extraordinary refinement covers interior surfaces that required years of continuous skilled labor. The Tabatabai Merchant House contains within its undistinguished exterior 40 rooms. Multiple interconnected courtyards and light shafts engineered so that every room receives direct sunlight at some point during the day. Beauty maintained as a private discipline rather than a public declaration. The Finn Garden, fed by the Solomania Spring through a 16th century hydraulic system, operates its fountains entirely without mechanical pumps, water driven by the pressure differential between the spring's source elevation and the garden's layout. The same flow rate maintained today as 5 centuries ago. In a desert city where water is the most compressed form of wealth, a self-sustaining garden is the most precise possible argument about what this civilization understood of its environment. The carpet trade that financed this architecture has contracted severely under international sanctions. And the craftspeople, still working in Kashan's remaining workshops, produce textiles that cannot easily reach their traditional markets. The plain exterior walls now concealing not only beauty, but economic uncertainty. The Alborz Mountains receive Caspian Sea moisture on their northern face with an intensity that transforms the landscape within miles, the semi-arid Iranian interior giving way as terrain rises into Gilan province. To temperate forest so continuously green that the transition carries the quality of crossing a climatic boundary rather than simply changing elevation. Masouleh sits within this forest zone at approximately 3,500 feet. Its yellow ochre buildings stacked against a slope so steep that from the valley below the village reeds as a vertical accumulation forms pressed against the mountain face. rising tier by tier into the tree line. Something that grew into the rock over approximately 1,000 years of continuous occupation. The arrangement that emerged is the detail separating Mosul from every other hillside settlement. Each building's roof is the pedestrian street of the building above it. The entire public circulation network simultaneously being the private structural surface of residents' homes. No roads accommodate vehicles. The path to the market is the ceiling of a neighbor's bedroom. And this has been true across 40 generations, without a written agreement governing it, because in a place where architecture makes the social contract physically visible, the social contract does not require documentation. The Caspian deposits roughly 55 inches of rain annually in these foothills, 27 times the rainfall reaching Yazd, and in the autumn fog settling over Mosul for weeks at a time. The clay mud walls absorb and release moisture in a thermal cycle that makes the buildings feel as though they are breathing. The forest descends to the lower terraces with an abruptness experienced as a change of climate rather than scenery. What the village faces now is the pressure of its own fame. Tourism has brought economic opportunity and structural stress in equal measure to a settlement built for the exact number of people it has always housed. And the rooftop pathways that function through mutual trust between residents become under the weight of strangers, something that requires management rather than simply inheritance. Iran should not exist the way it does not by the logic of comfort, not by the logic of stability, not by any modern measure of what a civilization requires to sustain itself across 3 millennia on a plateau ringed by desert, fractured by fault lines, and shaped by forces that have, repeatedly and without apology, dismantled everything human hands attempted to make permanent. What has persisted here is not the result of control or favorable circumstance, but of something quieter and more durable, a long, inherited familiarity with impermanence, the accumulated understanding that the appropriate response to an unstable world is not to demand that it stabilize, but to learn, across generations, the precise art of living well within it. As climate and uncertainty begin to redefine the conditions of existence for societies that have spent centuries assuming otherwise, the places that never held that assumption, the places that built their wisdom directly from pressure, from scarcity, from the necessity of negotiating with a land that offered beauty and hardship in equal and inseparable measure, begin to feel less like exceptions to the modern story and more like its earliest chapters. Iran is one of those places. It is not the only one.
Avoid direct contact. The reasons for that restraint are both scientific and ethical. Long isolation means the sentinels likely possess little or no immunity to many common outside illnesses. Diseases considered minor elsewhere, such as influenza, measles, or even an ordinary cold, could spread with devastating consequences in a small population with no prior exposure. A single careless encounter might trigger an irreversible demographic collapse. There is also a second reality. Outsiders are consistently unwelcome. Historical encounters have shown that intrusions are often met with immediate resistance. For that reason, the exclusion zone protects not only the tribe, but also those who might recklessly attempt to enter. By preserving strict boundaries, the modern world has chosen an uncommon path. Not conquest, not assimilation, but distance. And in that distance, North Sentinel remains one of the last places where human separation still endures. For most of the modern world, health is often linked to hospitals, pharmaceuticals, industrial food systems, and advanced technology. Yet, on North Sentinel Island, evidence suggests a very different reality. Beyond the protected shoreline lives a community that appears to sustain itself through older biological rhythms, movement, natural food sources, and complete separation from many of the pressures that define modern life. The Sentinelese are believed to maintain a fully hunter-gatherer way of life, relying neither on agriculture nor on animal husbandry. There is no indication of cultivated fields, domesticated livestock, or stored industrial food. Instead, their survival appears closely tied to the combined resources of forest, shoreline, and reef. Every meal must be gathered, hunted, or harvested directly from the environment around them. Marine resources seem to form a major part of that subsistence system. Observations made during distant surveys suggest that large portions of their daily caloric intake may come from the sea. Beaches have often been reported as scattered, with piles of roasted mollusk and shell remains, indicating that shellfish are likely a regular staple. Crabs and other shoreline creatures can be collected by hand during low tide, while shallow waters provide access to additional resources. The The Sentinelese are also known to use narrow outrigger canoes, carefully suited for lagoons and reef edges, rather than deep open water. From these vessels, they are believed to hunt fish, turtles, and possibly other larger marine animals, using bows, spears, and handcrafted weapons. The island's interior contributes just as much to survival. Dense forest likely provides wild birds, edible fruits, roots, honey, and seasonal plant foods. Historical observers, including Maurice Vidal-Portman, described seeing large accumulation of boar skulls near village sites, suggesting that hunting wild pigs has long been an important inland activity. Such hunts would require skill, coordination, and effective weapons. Accounts describe large bows and iron-tipped arrows, powerful enough to bring down substantial prey. Taken together, this pattern reveals a broad-spectrum diet rather than dependence on any single food source. Protein from marine life and wild game, combined with fruits, honey, and gathered plant foods, may help explain why outside observers frequently describe the Sentinelese as physically robust, muscular, and active. These descriptions are based only on visual encounters rather than medical examination, yet they have been consistent across decades of reports. Their daily life likely demands constant movement, paddling, climbing, carrying, tracking animals, gathering food, and constructing tools or shelters. In many societies, exercise is scheduled. On North Sentinel, movement itself may simply be inseparable from survival. What the modern world often seeks through gyms and health programs may emerge there as a natural consequence of everyday life. There are signs that the tribe has occasionally accepted outside offerings, such as coconuts or bananas, during rare contact attempts. However, these foods do not appear central to their traditional system and are better understood as temporary additions rather than necessities. The continued visibility of children, family groups, and multiple generations suggests that the island's limited land area, around 60 square kilometers, has remained capable of supporting human life through long-practiced local knowledge. This is the Paradox North Sentinel presence, a people with no farms, no supermarkets, no medicine, and no modern supply chains, who nevertheless appear to endure through a self-sustaining relationship with land and sea. Human history is often traced through language. Words preserve memory, transmit knowledge, and reveal how a people understand the world around them. Yet, in the case of North Sentinel Island, one of humanity's most fundamental markers of identity remains almost entirely beyond reach. The language of the Sentinel Seas is considered one of the greatest unresolved mysteries in modern linguistics. It is generally treated as unclassified, not because it lacks structure, but because no sustained direct study has ever been possible. Unlike many endangered languages that leave behind recordings, dictionaries, or written fragments, the speech of the Sentinelese exists almost wholly outside documented scholarship. No outsider has lived among them long enough to learn even its most basic grammar or vocabulary. Their long isolation almost certainly shaped this outcome. Separated from mainland populations and even neighboring island communities for immense stretches of time, the Sentinelese language appears to have developed along its own path. Whatever connections it may once have shared with related tongues have likely been transformed by thousands of years of independent change. As a result, communication attempts with nearby Andamanese groups have repeatedly failed. One of the clearest examples came when researchers brought Anji speakers during contact efforts and attempted communication from offshore using megaphones. The hope was that some ancient linguistic overlap might survive between the communities. Instead, mutual understanding did not occur. The Anj participants reportedly could not interpret the shouted words or gestures directed from the beach, and described the speech as unfamiliar and hostile in tone. This suggested that if any historical relationship exists, it is now deeply obscured. A rare moment of possible insight emerged during the 1991 expedition involving Dr. Madhumala Chattopadhyay, who had knowledge of several Andamanese languages. During a peaceful exchange in shallow water, she heard islanders calling out the phrase, "Narala Ja Ja," while gathering coconuts. She noted a phonetic resemblance to an Anj expression that could be interpreted as "more and more coconuts." Even so, linguists urge caution. A handful of similar sounds cannot establish shared language ancestry. Such overlap might result from coincidence, very ancient contact, or isolated borrowed terms passed across generations. Many specialists therefore suspect that Sentinelese belongs on its own distinct branch within the broader Andamanese linguistic family, though this remains provisional. Genetic studies suggesting long-term separation from other populations strengthen the possibility of deep linguistic divergence, but genes cannot directly reconstruct speech. Only language data can do that, and such data does not exist. Without recordings or first-hand study, the internal richness of Sentinelese communication remains hidden. Anthropologists observing from a distance can only note speech appears animated and is paired with expressive gestures, coordinated movement, and shifts in tone. These elements likely help organize daily tasks, resolve conflict, direct hunts, warn of danger, and maintain social bonds, just as language does everywhere else. For now, the Sentinelese tongue survives in a rare state almost unknown in the modern world. Spoken, living, and continuously used, yet effectively absent from archives, dictionaries, and formal study. As long as distance is maintained, it will remain one of the last unrecorded languages on Earth. Most mysteries surrounding North Sentinel involve distance. A shoreline no one can cross, a language no one can study, a society seen only in fragments. But some mysteries come in the form of objects. On rare occasions, a single artifact can raise more questions than years of observation ever answer. Among the strangest reports associated with the island is the discovery of a wooden board found near a coastal settlement that appeared remarkably similar to a Western chessboard. According to descriptions, the object measured roughly 52 centimeters by 30 centimeters and displayed 64 alternating squares arranged in a precise 8 by 8 grid. If accurately reported, it would represent one of the most unusual items ever linked to Sentinelese material culture. The reason this attracted attention is simple. No other indigenous group in the Andaman and Nicobar archipelago is widely known for a tradition of complex grid-based board games resembling chess. Because of that, the presence of such a geometric pattern on North Sentinel seemed difficult to explain. It challenged the simplistic stereotypes often applied to isolated societies and suggested that the island might contain forms of craftsmanship or symbolic culture outsiders had never documented. One possible explanation is that the board was made by the Sentinelese themselves. If so, it would imply careful measurement, repeated patterning, and deliberate woodworking beyond purely utilitarian objects such as weapons, containers, or shelter materials. The community is known to repurpose metal recovered from wreckage and coastal debris, meaning they may have had access to blades or cutting tools capable of finer carving. In that interpretation, the board may not have been a chessboard at all, but part of an indigenous game, counting system, decorative object, or ritual item whose purpose remains unknown. A second explanation is far more practical. the object may simply have drifted ashore from the sea. North Sentinel lies within waters used by international shipping, and floating debris has long reached remote coast lines throughout the region. Under this theory, the board was originally made elsewhere and later collected by islanders as a useful or curious item. That possibility is strengthened by the reported absence of chess pieces. Without matching pieces, the board would be difficult to use for the game it resembles and may instead have served as raw material, decoration, or storage surface. Whatever its true origin, the reported board highlights an important truth. Nearly everything known about the Sentinus comes from brief, distant, and incomplete encounters. A single object observed from outside can be interpreted in many ways, especially when there is no opportunity to ask the people who used it. What outsiders identify as a puzzle may have been ordinary to those who owned it. The so-called chessboard mystery therefore says less about certainty than about limits. It reminds us that North Sentinel is often described through assumptions rather than understanding. Beneath the forest canopy may exist traditions, tools, and meanings never recorded by the wider world. Whether crafted on the island or carried there by chance, the board endures as a symbol of how much remains unknown. For thousands of years, North Sentinel existed beyond written history, known only to those who lived there and to the sea around it. Then, in the late 18th century, the island entered colonial records for the first time. It was a brief encounter, but one that marked the beginning of a long and troubled relationship between isolation and intrusion. The earliest concrete outside documentation of North Sentinel Island dates to late 1781, during a period of expanding maritime exploration by the British East India Company. John Ritchie, a hydrographic surveyor working for the company, was traveling aboard the vessel Diligence when his ship passed the island at night. He did not attempt to land, and no direct contact took place. Yet, what he observed from offshore became historically significant. From the deck, Ritchie reported seeing numerous lights and bonfires flickering along the shoreline. These fires strongly suggested that the island was inhabited and likely supported an established population. In a world where many remote places still appeared blank, on European charts, the site of organized human activity carried major importance. It confirmed that North Sentinel was not an empty island, but a settled homeland. Ritchie is generally credited with helping establish the island's modern name, noting that its position resembled a sentinel guarding approaches to the wider Andaman Straits. Though brief, his account placed the island into colonial navigation records and awakened outside curiosity that would persist for generations. Just as important was what did not happen. Ritchie remained at sea rather than forcing a landing. That decision likely prevented an early and potentially violent collision between two worlds that understood nothing about one another. For the moment, the fires on the beach were simply observed from a distance, and the island returned to silence. For nearly a century after its first appearance in colonial records, North Sentinel remained distant, silent, and largely untouched. Then nature intervened. A storm at sea would force more than 100 strangers onto its shores and trigger one of the earliest violent encounters ever documented there. In the summer of 1867, the Indian merchant vessel Nineveh was caught in the dangerous monsoon season and wrecked upon the coral reefs surrounding the island. The ship carried 106 passengers and crew. Despite the destruction, all aboard managed to escape in lifeboats and reach the sandy beaches along the northern coast. Suddenly, a remote island that had resisted approach for generations found itself hosting an unexpected human landing. For the first 2 days, the castaways established a temporary camp and waited for rescue. During that time, they reported no immediate contact with island inhabitants and began to believe the land might